overly religious mother came from the devil, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, you got this overbearing fucking religious nut job of her mom, and this young girl just trying to find herself, and it makes for a very interesting movie because, honestly, I think there's a lot of people out there that can relate or is similar to Carrie in some way, shape, or form. They're trying to find themselves. They're becoming adults. They're becoming young people. And they don't have parents that have fucking bat brain sense that can help them. So then they grow up to be fucking weirdos. Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's very relatable, you know, especially if you're that kind of the outcast kid.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where if you don't have the support system at home, because, you know, she was conflicted because she has like the gym teacher in the film that tries to help her so much, but then, you know, it goes against what her mom is about. So it's several conflicts in the film. And, you know, at the end, you know, it's that classic, you know, they build you up just to tear you down.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sad, to be honest with you.
It is very sad. Damn, I can't believe I forgot to fucking put that on my list. What kind of fucking person am I? I don't even know myself.
Well, what's your number 4, buddy?
Well, I'm going to take Misery off and put Carrie number 5.
Can't do that.
It's my fucking show. I can do what I want. No, I'll stick with my list. Number 4, I have It Part 1 from 2017.
Sweet. Before you go any further, my number 3 is It 2017. So while you talk about it, I'll talk about it a little bit, and then you can just go straight into your number 3.
Cool. Well, It 2017 was the first movie adaptation we had of It that wasn't the television series from the 90s.
Yes, and if you're confused out there, it goes like this. A miniseries is something that's like straight to like television, and usually over a 2-night period. Nowadays, it's a little bit more fuzzy these days because, yes, you have straight-to streaming service movies, but you also have straight-to streaming service, they call them limited series these days. But back in the day, they called them miniseries.
Yeah.
And, the ones that we're talking about now are the ones that did not hit streaming services or did not hit television. These were theatrical releases.
Yeah.
And if anybody asks you what's the difference between the original 1990 It and the 2017, you can tell them. One was a miniseries on television. The other one was a theatrical movie that went to theaters. That is the difference. So in a weird way, It 2017 is not a remake. It is a movie version, and there's never been a theatrical movie version of this film. Only a mini-series version.
You tell some of these dipshits that
you can say that it's based off of, because that's what it is. It's the same story, but it's not a remake. You can't remake something that wasn't made beforehand.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, It 1990 was not a theatrical movie, so It 2017 can't be a remake of it because it was never in theaters to begin with. Anyway, I've ranted long enough. Go ahead.
Yes. We have Bill Skarsgård
as Pennywise.
I was going to say paying homage, but at this point, I mean, neck and neck with Tim Curry. I mean,
it goes like this. Tim Curry is the original, and Bill is today's Pennywise film version.
Right.
So
they
both
you see more Bill than you do Tim these days.
Well, yeah, because
it's newer.
It's newer, yeah.
But Not taking anything away from Tim Curry. He did an amazing job as Pennywise, but Bill Skarsgård definitely stole the fucking show in this movie.
And you know what? That just goes to show you. It was number 1 on my miniseries, and the movie, is number 3. So that tells you which one I prefer.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot better movies. But anyway, we got the adaptation from the miniseries to a movie. It pretty much went hand in hand with the miniseries. They made it, I'd say, darker. Like, it was more grittier.
Oh yeah, you could do
the kids. To me, were a lot better in the movie. If we're doing like comparison and stuff like that.
Well, I really can't compare because there's only so much you can do on television.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, like the few comparisons that you can that they took from the influences they got from the show. That's what I'm trying to say. And they took it and ran with it in the movie. I mean, the Georgie scene was very shocking. I don't think any of us thought that we'd actually see his arm get bitten off like it was. Very heart-wrenching. Great storytelling. I mean, I think that the movie was a little bit more by the book. Wink, wink. But just a fucking amazing movie. Everybody that was casted in that movie was casted like perfect. Great special effects. I mean, just truly like one of the, like when you were watching it, is one of the, like, you knew that you were watching something special.
Right.
So, anything you want to say about it before jumping to number 3?
Nope, you pretty much covered it.
Number 3 is actually Silver Bullet for me. You've said pretty much everything I possibly could say about it. Silver Bullet is top 3 werewolf movies for me. Just a fucking great fun film. Like, I don't know, like when I get in these like certain moods, like if I want to like watch Monster Squad, and stuff like that, like it goes in this like some Monster Squad, like Casper, Silver Bullet. I don't know. It gives me like the same like feeling. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's just like one of those like feel good like movies that I don't know. It's just like it was something captivating about it the very first time I seen it as a kid, and it has just stuck with me. It's just, I don't know, it warms my heart. I don't know why.
Well, it's like, it probably has to do because the main hero in this film is a little boy in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And that makes it stand out because you normally don't have heroes that are, you know, disabled or kids for that matter.
Right.
So, I mean, it was kind of like a 1-2 punch. And the good thing about Silver Bullet is, you know, it wasn't like a standalone novel. I think it was one of these, like when he released a book and it had several chapters in it that were different mini stories.
Yeah.
And Silver Bullet wasn't even the original title of it. I forgot what it was called. Something Heart. I can't remember, but yeah, making it Silver Bullet, and you know, of course, that's a reference to the werewolf, but also naming the wheelchair the Silver Bullet because it goes fast and shit like that. That was pretty slick, and yeah, I get it. Like,
and not to mention the werewolf in the movie is spectacular.
Yeah, and you know, it has some scenes in it that no other werewolf scenes have, you know, like that awesome scene where the guy from the bar has the baseball bat and he's beating it, and you just see his hand in the fog, but then you see the other hand raise up, and it's clearly the werewolf hand, and now he has the bat, and he's beating the fucking guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. The fucking firework in the eye of the werewolf, and you know, this was probably one of Gary Busey's early movies.
I'd say so.
Because I mean, I didn't really see him in. I mean, this was '85. The next time I saw him, well, I wasn't alive back then, obviously, but the movie that I remember him in after this, that was a big role, was probably Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
So this movie might have, you know, put him out there to be like one of those up and coming, you know, he's a hot young actor, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Silver Bullet's awesome. So, number 2. Dos Chichis.
I wonder if your number 2 is my number 2.
Well,
is it?
Mine is from 1989, and it is Pet Sematary.
Yep. Same.
Yeah. As you guys know, there was a remake to Pet Sematary a few years ago. This ain't it. This is the original 1989 Pet Sematary. And, yeah, man, this was one of the true creepy films that I watched when I was a kid. It's in my top, what was it, 25? I believe it made my top 25 of my 150. I've always loved this movie. It's always creepy scenes in it. Again, you know, when I watch this movie, I know what to expect. It's scene after scene after scene. And no matter how many times I watch the film, I always look forward to it. It's kind of like Jaws to me. Like, I can catch Jaws on television, and anywhere that it's playing, it doesn't matter if it's 10 minutes left in the movie, 20 minutes left in the movie, or at the very beginning. Like, I'll stop and watch it. And Pet Sematary is the same way. Like I don't need to be filled in. Like, I know this movie, like, front and back. So, it's always been a favorite of mine, and probably because, you know, it's not an overall creepy movie. Like, from the beginning to the end, I'm not creeped out, but it's certain scenes, like the Zelda scene, that really get you, and it really stays with you. It's one of those things where even if you seen this when you were 4 years old, right, and you grow up, and somebody mentions the name, and you're like, yeah, I remember that. And if you don't remember anything about the fucking movie, you remember that Zelda scene, though, and you're like, oh, my God, yeah, that's that movie with the fucking creepy sister. So,
it was very disturbing.
Very memorable movie.
Yes.
In my opinion, you know, there's only one movie above this in mine, so that's should tell you how much I really enjoy this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a horror classic. It's one of those that stuck with me as a kid. Like, I remember seeing Child's Play and Pet Sematary around the same time, and both of them scarring me. But it's just something like iconic about that movie that just, you know, grabs your attention. It's just great over the top, you know, acting. I mean, for God's sakes, you got Herman the Monster himself in it.
Herman the Monster?
Herman? Did I say Herman?
No, you said the Monster. You said Herman the Monster. It's Herman Munster.
Look, I've had a rough couple of days. All right, I've been sick, people, so I've got sick brain.
Fred Gwynn.
There you go. This is why I have a co-host. Cause
my cousin Vinny.
Sorry, people. Anyway, he is iconic in this movie.
He really is.
Like, he really steals the show, because I think that was my problem when the remake came out, is that I was hoping that they could find somebody as warming and, like, charming as him, but they tried, but it just, that was the main thing missing.